Today's question to answer is why I connect so deeply with Ren. I want you to tell us your why, in the comments below. This is a special reaction because I started, I guess, 3 weeks ago to do reactions to the chapters of Ren. Ren has 8 chapters on his other channel at RenMakesStuff. And we've so far reacted to chapters 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be chapter 4. Haven't seen it yet because we never pre-watch anything. Um, these type of reactions we do a little bit differently. Like I will pause it several times throughout because it's not a music video. Um, so just keep that in mind to watch it all the way through its entirety. I want to read something real quick from one of our viewers who had wrote a comment in one of the other chapters that I did. And this is from Minerbird at Minerbird1972. They wrote, "Why I connect so deeply to Ren. I was a victim of SA and kidnapping as a child. I've lived in a self-imposed hell for decades, rolled in shame and blame. I haven't been able to seek help. After watching these videos, I finally felt strong enough, and that it isn't my shame. If this brave young man can speak so deeply and honestly about his pain, I can too. Maybe some don't want to hear it, but it's my story. God bless Ren." That was very beautiful. It was beautiful. It was raw. It was visceral. It was personal. And I thank you. And I thank all the other ones who have shared their stories or glimpses of their life, or what Ren has done for them in the comments. So keep doing that, please. Like, this channel prides on supporting Ren and all musicians for that matter to help give them more exposure and notoriety. But Ren in particular, since this is the focal point here, let's talk about it in the comments, okay? Let's get this spread out to more and more people so more and more people can see and then relate and then tell anything that they want to get off their chest or say what Ren has meant to them. So we appreciate you, of course, for looking and watching. But I think since this is a very important topic of mental health, of trials and tribulations, of getting through things, let's actually verbally, well, text wise, talk about it in the comments. Okay. Um, so yeah, so this is chapter 4, and let's pretty much get into it. If you haven't already, because I don't like to assume everybody done so, maybe you forgot, go to Ren's channels and subscribe to them, like and comment. I'll have the links in the descriptions. This is chapter 4. Like I said, it's from his channel at RenMakesStuff. So without further ado, here we go.
Cool. During the year I spent living back with my mum, I was leaning even more heavily into scouring the internet for answers. It became like an obsession. Most people my age were watching porn. I was on PubMed learning about mitochondria. I educated myself in things like methylation, the building blocks of mitochondria, various immune cells and their functionality, and which supplements could help theoretically bring about homeostasis in my body. I taught myself of the various pathogens that could lead to the symptoms I was experiencing. Around this time, I started ordering medical test kits from private medical facilities. I had a eureka moment when, after posting some poop in a tube to a lab in London, I discovered I had an amoeba and another more benign gastrointestinal parasite called blastohominis. Both could plausibly lead to systemic pain and fatigue. Upon researching the best course of action, I found this doctor in New York who was a world-renowned specialist in treating parasites. Return flights to New York, booked far enough in advance, were a couple of £100 back then. The treatment itself was pretty cheap. I was in no way in a strong financial position, and neither was my family, so I did what I always do when I needed to get money. I wrote and recorded some songs from my laptop from bed. One about getting to New York to find a cure. I sold a modest amount of digital copies to my...
I wanted to stop right there because that's, I feel, is an important pause, because thank goodness Ren had the ability, like he said, whenever he needed money for like medical treatment or to do something, he had the ability to make songs and to use the proceeds to help himself. But that makes me think of people who are in his situation who maybe don't have the gift to write music and stuff like that. Um, for that, I would say, like, if there's someone or some entity, like a support group or an organization where you can always reach out to get some type of help or finances, please make sure that you do so. I live by a motto myself that it can't hurt to ask. If you prepare yourself with, okay, if I ask somebody something, they'll either say yes or no. If you prepare yourself for it, it's not much of a sting if someone says no. So, like, I would say, like, ask, like, it's okay sometimes to ask for financial help. Like, if you need it, in this case, for some medical situation or whatever, just ask. So at least you've tried your best. All right. So just keep that in mind. All right. But again, yet I'm glad that Ren has the ability and expertise to do music, and that we all love, and that was able to help him through. So it's a great sense that how music again is helping him and stuff in all sorts of ways. So let's get back to this.
My Facebook friends and my friends and family, just enough to afford a trip. During this time, my symptoms had gotten a lot worse, so the entire visit was a bit of a blur. I remember sitting in a waiting room and struggling to find an inch of wall space that wasn't taken up by the countless medical qualifications and the diplomas attached to it. I half expected the walls to start bragging about their Ivy League connections and debating the latest medical research while those mere mortals waited to be called in. When I was finally on the doctor's table, I was told to take off my clothes and put on a blue disposable paper robe. An old man in his 80s hobbled in, pulled on a medical glove, and proceeded to cover his finger in Vaseline. My heart sunk. I was pretty sure I knew what was coming next. I suddenly wished I'd experimented more with my ex-girlfriend. I didn't want to lose my backdoor virginity like this. He could have at least done me the courtesy of putting on some Marvin Gaye and lighting some candles, but instead I lay in uncomfortable silence on a brightly exposed operating table, while a firm-handed, overqualified old man inserted his index finger forcefully into my anus. He never wrote to me afterwards.
I'm glad he made light of it, but I know where he's coming from. Yeah, I should have said that too. If I could have gone back in time to when that was me, I should have said something like that. Like, could you put some Marvin Gaye on or something? Oh my goodness. Not something that you want to remember in life, but I know that it's essential sometimes depending upon. But oh my God, that was a kick. Let's get back to it.
I felt used. Nonetheless, I was officially diagnosed with a parasitic amoeba and given a course of heavy-duty antibiotics to take. I believe it was paramomycin and secnidazole. After the course was finished, I pooped into a tube again, and they confirmed I got rid of the parasites. The constant internal techno raves and gurgling which usually plagued my stomach ceased, but I felt just as crap. And on top of all of that, I started becoming allergic to everything. And I mean fucking everything. The antibiotics had triggered some sort of massive food intolerance reaction. Whenever I'd eat certain foods, I'd get hit with a sudden hangover-like feeling, and my face would swell up. I'd later learned this was something called MCAS, and it was triggered by the antibiotics. This was the first time I felt the crushing defeat of pinning a lot of money, hopes, and time in.
That's the scariest, scary thing what he just said. Like, I never knew that about him, but I never knew about that diagnosis in general. Like, you hear of, when you take medicines, they often say side effects from just that medicine. But then I never really thought of it how it could domino effect and then trickle down the road and affect other things that may not even have to do with the side effects itself, but it could change you. Like, I can't imagine like being kind of worried about what food you're going to eat, like, and especially food that you normally eat all the time, to have it cause you some type of uh tiring feeling and swollen and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. Um, and something like that you think would stop somebody because now, oh my goodness, look what this medication has done, has now made my day-to-day life even worse, like eating. But you still have to sometimes push through because this is your existence and you don't want to be in that situation all the time. Wow. Nothing is easy, by the way, people. So like when I say things, because somebody said it once in the comments. I never ever say, or try not to say, like, things are easy. So whether it takes a day, a week, a month, a year, or longer to sometimes get something done that you really want to fight for, uh, do the best that you can. All right. Things like this, unfortunately, when it's pain and things that are sometimes beyond your control, it's usually not easy. Um, so just keep that in mind. But it's that tenacity and it's that gung ho type of mentality that you sometimes have to take, and hopefully you will prevail and get to the other side, get some type of resolve. So let's get back to it.
Into a treatment only for it to make me worse. I'd felt it to a small degree with every failed herbal protocol, every antidepressant that gave me side effects, but this was on a much larger scale. I almost felt guilty and full of shame for not getting better. I told my friends and family that this was going to be the thing that cured me. Not only did it fail, but I was now unable to tolerate basic carbohydrates, fruits, sugar, high histamine food, dairy, grains, without feeling terrible. I felt pretty crushed about that. Despite this, some tenacious part of me had a perseverance that didn't want to stop looking for answers. I was obsessed with trawling the internet. I strongly believe if I didn't have that tenacity to keep looking after every defeat, I'd probably be dead today. After about a year of living with my mum in North Wales, I got the itch, and I decided that I'd make a bold move to Brighton. Most days I didn't really have the energy to do much other than short walks, but I had a friend over there who lived with ME for years. It felt like a safe space, a place of understanding. Being a 23-year-old living with his mother didn't feel very cool either. He had a free room going and he was a legend. I desperately craved my own independence. After going through the heartbreak of losing love and losing the exciting career opportunity, I needed to feel like I wasn't just sitting in the tomb in Wales waiting for death, even if it was a struggle.
That page turn, I've said it in the other chapters, like, the things we take for granted, like when you're reading something normally and that has pages and you turn the page, you think nothing of it, but it's something about, since this is so an emotional and visceral toll that he's reliving, because he has to, as he's reading it, he has to be saying, I remember going through that, I remember going through that. Every time he turns the page there, it feels like it's magnified times 100. Tell me if anybody else feel that way. It's that moment of silence. He's not talking. The microphone's there, I know. But that turn of the page, I take it as, oh God, we're on to the next page of my life. And I have to relive it. That's how I imagine it. It's amazing. He's just he does so much for people, and he does so much to show compassion and things like that. And again, I'm so happy that he's getting these things off his chest, because it's healing him, is healing many of us, it's educating us. And it also gives hope. That 4-letter word, hope. You have to have hope. Because if he had no hope, there might not be a REN. We might not have heard of him anymore. So thank goodness he had that 4-letter word. All right, let's get back to it.
I made the move. It was a really nurturing space, and it was full of the lunatics of Brighton who would come and go. I was still living in a thick haze, but I was meeting people who weren't judging me for it. With this safety, I was slowly finding my personality again. Despite the comfortable environment, it seemed my symptoms were only getting worse. I started having pretty constant panic attacks. The first one felt like a heart attack. I'd never experienced a panic attack before, so I wasn't familiar with the symptoms. My whole face went numb, and my heart felt like it was about to beat out of my ribcage. I panicked and I phoned an ambulance. They put me in the back, they took all my vitals, and they told me I wasn't dying. I felt disappointed. These attacks would happen pretty habitually every week or so. My symptoms of derealization seemed ever increasing. Derealization is hard to describe to someone who's never experienced it. The closest thing I can come to is feeling like you're on bad drugs. You feel disconnected from yourself, like your soul has been vacuumed out of your body and nothing around you quite feels real. Everything has an unusual undertone and nothing feels safe. I remember one night in the first year that I lived with Ben, there was this lightning storm of torrential rain. I went outside and I stood in a t-shirt hoping I'd be hit by a bolt of lightning and it would somehow shock me out of it. Unfortunately, I wasn't on Zeus's hit list that day. This urge to be shocked back into reality didn't really leave me. I remember one day I was walking back from the shops. I found an old analog television in an alleyway that was being thrown out. I can't quite remember the thought process that led me there. I just remember feeling angry and I decided to smash the fucking pieces out of the TV in the alley. I picked it above my head and I hurled it towards the ground. The screen cracked, but it didn't shatter like I hoped it would. I did it again and again and again until there were large shards of glass lining the street. I saw one about the size of a kitchen knife and I picked it up. It's hard to rationally explain self-harm that's not a cry for help, because this wasn't a cry for help. I'd cried for help.
I wanted to pause it right there because something popped up in my mind right before he mentioned the knife and the self-harm, but the smashing of the TV. It made me think of, I don't know if this is around the world, but I mean, I'm in the United States, it's here. They call them rage rooms. If you've never heard of it before, a rage room is basically a room where you pay to smash things. And it's supposed to be very cathartic and so powerful because it really allows you to relieve stress. Because where else can you go legally and just start smashing up stuff? Or even if you smash your own stuff at home, like that's your stuff. But this is stuff you're paying, like it might be an old tube TV, or bottles or anything. And they give you this protective clothing, this face mask, and like you can pick your weapons. You can pick a baseball bat, you can pick a crowbar, all these type of options to smash things. If you've never heard of it, or if you've heard of it but you've never gone, you should really check it out because I was told it can be very, very cleansing. I haven't gone. I was supposed to go one time, but the people I was supposed to go with canceled, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it by myself. But yeah, I still want to go. But I know from hearing it, and I can understand and appreciate how that can just relieve stress. Sometimes you might need to do that. Like, if you're going through anything like Ren's going through, or just anything that's stressing you out, period, and you don't know how to let off that stress, like maybe you don't go to a gym, or maybe you don't jog, or maybe you don't play video games where you shoot them up on TV, maybe consider a rage room. So I thought I'd plug that in there because he was talking about smashing the TV again and again and again. Let us know in the comments if you've heard of a rage room or have you been, and if you want to share your experience, like how it made you feel afterwards. Okay. Let's get back into it.
Multiple times and no one listened. The pain I felt inside my body could never be done justice with words. There's a certain horror, a certain frustration of living in a body that would never give me a moment of peace. I felt constantly alienated. I had no doctors to tell me what was going on. They made me feel like a hypochondriac. There are no combination of words in the English language that can express that pain, that can express that frustration. There's no song I could write that would make you understand. In that moment, the closest and truest way I had of communicating my pain was driving a shard of glass into my chest and dragging it across until the blood was dripping down my body. It didn't hurt very much compared to what was already going on inside of me, and it didn't really help me feel better either, but it was truth, and there was beauty in that. Adrenaline gives you a brief moment of respite, but it wasn't long until I was exactly where I started, just decorated in a little bit more blood than usual. I made sure nobody saw. I didn't want to cause any alarm. I didn't want anyone to be worried. So I cleaned it up when I got home, and then I resumed the life of the undead. In the next episode, I'll tell you the story of when I was stabbed by an ancient sword and when I met one of the most talented people that I know.
I got tears on my sleeves, hold on, and holes in these jeans, hold on. I haven't slept in weeks, hold on. I haven't found no peace, hold on. I get my teeth tied, hold on, and these tears run dry, hold on. two bloodshot eyes, hold on, two bloodshot eyes. I don't belong here, in a place where life has left me. I'm 25 going on 150. My body feels old and I'm trying to lift the weight from my soul, but it's moving against me. I've emptied out my theodox, I lift my middle finger up, I'm screaming fuck you to all the demons here that keep me stuck. The pain is sharp like paper cuts, I hate them much, but yes I trust. I must combust, I must blow up, I must roll this courage up. Boom, sparks fill the room, I'm feeling the rhythm I move. My soul is more worn than the soles in my shoes. Nike trainer blues, a man with none to lose. I think I lost my sanity, calamity in shoes. Poor choice maker, I rip out the pages of fate, then I roll them up like bizzle of paper. Taker, lung full of destiny, a man with no part, it's a very strange entity. Tears on my sleeves, hold on, and holes in these jeans, hold on. I haven't slept in weeks, hold on. I haven't found no peace, hold on. I get my teeth tied, hold on, and these tears run dry, hold on. Two bloodshot eyes, hold on, two bloodshot eyes. Do you ever question your fate? The questions I make, is this all predetermined, the script or a play? Am I the protagonist in this tragedy, or will I be the author of stories unmade? If so, I'll dip in my quill to my ink pot, keep on writing, never stop until my beating heart it flops. I'll write a whole different story. Scene one, a boy full of hope, a boy full of glory. Who stutters, I'm up to the top. Would rather be tougher and live it smoothly like butter, but not so bitter and cut up. And so I sit up and shut up, it's like I lit up and struck up the courage never to fuck up. And now I'm feeling the ruckus, feeling the static, and now I'm feeling the flames, and now I'm feeling the strength inside the ring with my pain. My boxing gloves and my hope that I trust to bust an uppercut, cut my demons up. What? Boom like a tsunami, smooth like a punani, bend the birds like origami, Salvador, I be the Dali. Only love like Bob Marley, golden ticket, call me Charlie, riding Harley's Bengali, tiger star, call me Arnie. I'll be back. Now cut the slack, track your facts, relax, shit in the beast, and then seek it in the peace. And I'll reach the canopies, and yes we climbing, building a brave new world inside a whole new designing. With all this fire we burn like the sun, a new dawn is rising, a new dawn it comes. Yeah, diggity down with all this corporation, they burn up the land for the greed that they run. Run deep with their roots, but their roots can be lifted. I'll be a renegade, yes I'll make a fist kid. Try to seek truth in the kingdom of lies, a boy so lost with two bloodshot eyes. Tears on my sleeves, hold on, and holes in these jeans, hold on. I haven't slept in weeks, hold on. I haven't found no peace, hold on. I get my teeth tied, hold on, and these tears run dry, hold on. Two bloodshot eyes, hold on, two bloodshot eyes. Ha, ha, ha. Hold on. Hold on. Ha, ha, ha. Hold on. Hold on. Two bloodshot eyes. Hold on. Hold on. Two bloodshot eyes. Woo.
I love these little, I don't know if I want to say the word treats, but I love these surprise music videos, I should say, at the end of his chapters, because actually none of them so far I've heard before. I mean, he has a lot of songs in his portfolio or discophile, whatever you call it, and we reacted to, I think, 65 or something plus of them, if you check out the playlist that we've done for Ren. So there's a lot more that I haven't heard yet. So it's nice to know that these videos that he's putting at the end of these chapters I haven't heard of. So it's like I get two treats, if you will, one a music video and one him sitting down and talking about his past and present. So yeah. And it's also something because before hearing this song, I had said earlier in between about hope. I'm like that 4-letter word, hope, not knowing that it really ties into this song, because another way of saying, without saying the word hope, is the title of this song, Hold On. I mean, his constantly saying hold on throughout the entire song is telling you yourself to hold on, to have hope, to keep waiting to keep fighting, even though there's obstacles in your way, to hold on. It kind of makes me think, because my mind sometimes, I'm very imaginative. I'm a freelance web designer, so I always try to think outside the box. So like when he's saying hold on and I'm thinking of hold on, I'm like a metaphor or something to compare it to. It's like, let's say you're walking down the street and it's a thunderstorm and the wind is blowing and it's raining and you have your umbrella up, and you know how you're fighting for dear life to hold onto that umbrella. The wind is crazy. You might be tilting your umbrella in different directions and stuff like that, but you're holding on to that umbrella. Metaphorically, that wind and those obstacles is just the bullshit that happens in your life that you're going through. And then that umbrella is that hope to cover you up, to shield you, whatever you want to call it. So you just keep holding on, you keep holding on. And then what happens when those storms happen? They go away. So you have to have that hope that it goes away. And hopefully it will go away. I know some problems don't go away. So I'm not saying that every problem will go away, but the point is, if you never wait, if you never hold on, or if you never have hope, how are you going to know if it will? Because here's something that's facts. It definitely won't stop, or you definitely won't get to the other side if you just stop dead in your tracks and don't do anything. Am I right? So you have to have that hope, because if there's that little tiny part that says, suppose my hope prevails, then what? So I just love this song. It was very apparent. It's just holding on. Like he's fighting through being incredibly tired all the time, and these things hitting him left and right, left and right. And he's just saying, hold on. So let that bleed, even if that's the subliminal message intended by him constantly saying that. It's for you to understand and for you to put that, insert that into your own life, to hold on. It's also coincidentally that I'm just thinking about it. Off the dome, people, unscripted. That hat that I'm wearing, Survive. So I realize it can have kind of like two purposes. Like I wear this often when I am doing a reaction to our short horror films, because I did that earlier. So I do that as like a survive the horror. But this can also be inserted into situations such as what Ren goes through, or what problems you have your own personally. You have to have hope. You have to survive. And this wasn't intentionally. I didn't know I was going to say this, but you have to survive. You have to fight. You have to not give up until you have to give up, like until the heart stops beating, basically. Um, you know? So again, it's not easy. Just hopefully it won't take years upon years upon years, but everything is different. One problem you might have, you have hope and it's resolved, or whatever, in a week. Another time it might take 5 years. I don't know. It depends on the severity. It depends on you having that hope and you doing whatever you can to try to take care of it. So, and then in the meantime, whatever it may be, live with it, but don't let it stop you dead in your tracks. Don't let it be that anchor where you just can't move, So yeah, that was all amazing. This was yet another chapter of his life. And I'm really grateful and humbled by the fact that he shares this with everybody, because that can't be an easy thing to do, because you're going to get judgment. I don't see why anybody would judge him. Those are just haters. Those are just flat out haters and trolls. If anybody has something negative to say about Ren pouring his heart out and healing us and telling us things like that, like, if you know what I mean, because I know that there's some out there, there's people out there that they just feed off of negativity. Make them starve. They starve here, because I swat that out of the channel like gnats at the pool. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm focused on the people that sympathize and empathize and who build up and nurture, and together we stand stronger. You know what I mean? So just focus on that. And for everybody who's poured into the comments and told us some of your personal stories and what Ren has done to help you and stuff, bravo for you. Never feel shamed about your story. It's your story. You should be proud of it if you get to the other side, and ignore anybody who says, wow, you're just telling all your business. Like, then don't listen to it, or just keep moving. You know what I mean? Because the day will come when those said people will have their own problems. Then no wonder oh wow, I just burned my bridges with people that uplift you about this, you know? Anyway, there's no judging on these type of reactions. This is the reaction mini series that I said I was going to do for the chapters. There's no thumbs up, thumbs down. There's no ass or pass. Everything is loved. Everything is supported. Everything is appreciated. Support Ren, please. And also thank you, Ren, lastly, for supporting reaction channels such as myself. Um, One love, because, you know, we adore and respect you. So thank you. And also, if you want to check out more of Ren's chapters that we reacted to, how about right there?